What's going on, TW fans? Thomas here, and welcome back for another episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. We are marching our way through December. That means we are marching our way through our 12 days of savings sale. We hope you guys are getting out there, taking advantage of all these hot deals, because now is the time to jump on that stuff. Time to get yourself some great stuff, maybe time to get some cool gifts for your friends. Speaking of gifts, got a couple things we want to remind you guys about. So we do have a holiday buying guide on our website, on tacklewarehouse.com. So make sure to check that out if you're struggling to find that perfect gift for that angler in your life. If you really just don't know where to start, don't know what to get, we got you covered with gift cards all through this month, through the whole sale, our whole 12 days of savings sale. Gift cards are 10% off. That's right, it doesn't matter what denomination you get. It doesn't matter if you get one of these cool physical gift cards or an electronic gift cards. They are all on sale, 10% off for the duration of our 12 days of savings sale. So make sure to check those out. Grab the gear you want. Grab the gear for some of your angling buddies out there. Speaking of gear, let's take a look at some cool new stuff from some of our favorite manufacturers out there. We're gonna start with one of my favorite crankbaits. Well, one of my favorite crankbait series, we got a new addition to it. From SPRO, in the new RkCrawler series. Well, not new series, but we got a new addition to it. This is the 50DD. So 50DD, we're actually gonna get a smaller platform, a smaller body, but that DD, deep diver. So we're gonna get this thing to plunge all the way down 9 to 12 foot, especially if you're using some lighter fluorocarbon lines. You can really get this thing to dig down there. So, you know, wintertime. People are starting to crank in the wintertime. Absolutely, they've been doing that for the last several years. It is proven to be a good technique. So, hey, this one's gonna be perfect for you for wintertime. 9 to 12 foot, so you can get a little bit deeper for some of those bass holding, you know, further off the bank, but you still have that small profile, so it's not gonna be too intimidating for them. They might be, you know, if they're lethargic or finicky, you know, just not really actively chewing, that smaller profile can be the key between getting a bite or just watching another crankbait pass on by. So make sure to check these things out. They still have that incredible wobble, that you know, erratic hunting action that the RkCrawler series is known for, famous for, that has just become a favorite in every crankbait angler's box. You know, new, seasoned angler, any of them, it's a killer bait. You want to check these things out. Great paint jobs and nice Gamakatsu hooks on them, so you don't even need to buy new hardware right out of the box. So definitely check those out. One of my favorite crankbait series for sure. All right, now let's up the ante here a little bit. Let's go bigger. We got a new swim bait for you. From Shimano, we have the Armajoint Swimbait. So this thing is loaded down with a ton of their unique technologies, all their boost systems, you know, the flash boost system in there, and it has this Armajoint. But what's really cool is, yeah, absolutely, it's a swim bait. It's made to swim really well. But kind of one of the challenges of throwing these bigger swim baits is the casting process. They can tend to spin or helicopter, if you will. Well, Shimano aims to end that with their new Armajoint body. So this thing folds in half on the cast. So they say you can cast this thing up to 40% farther than some other swim baits on the market. Once it hits the water, it just returns back. It has some internal magnets to help it return right back to its original form, get it right here in that perfect position, and give you killer swimming action as well. So just a cool, unique swim bait here that's just gonna allow you to reach some of those fish that maybe you couldn't reach before. And as I mentioned right at the beginning of this thing, loaded down with their technology. So you have their flash boost system in here. So it's actually a little piece of foil that's anchored with some springs. So even at the rest, on the pause, you're still getting some auxiliary action, some just attraction out of this thing with that constantly shaking little flash boost system in there. Has their flash scale patterns on this thing as well. So just a hyper-realistic look, really drawing those fish in with those nice visual cues. Killer hooks on these things, so that silky gray coat finish on there, so wintertime, bass are gonna get some of those harder mouths. This is gonna sail through those things with ease. And they're actually held on by their innovative hook latch system. So when it folds over, these hooks aren't gonna tangle with themselves because they're actually latched into the body, but as soon as the bass bites the bait, the hooks release. You know, it's not gonna hinder your hookup ratio. You're still gonna have an optimized hookup ratios when those things release. They're not gonna be able to use the leverage to throw the bait. So just a cool, unique, you know, soft tail on the bottom here, hard jointed body up there. A cool, unique swim bait that I'm definitely excited to try out, you know, this winter and beyond. You definitely wanna pick it up and give it a go yourself. Also comes with a couple of spare tails in there as well, so that's a nice feature. All right, let's take a look at some terminal stuff. From Laser Sharp, we got a couple of kits for you. The Pro Series, we got the Bass Jig Kit over here, and the TKO Punch Rig Kit. These things are cool. They got a ton of stuff in them, so if you're looking for a new Tokyo rig setup, we got a bunch of stuff here. We have some EWG hooks on the side, we have some flipping hooks on the other side, we have just the wires themselves, we got some swivels, some split rings, some beads, a bunch of different weights, you know, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, we drop all the way down to 1/4 ounce over here, and even some cylinder style weights. So if you're looking to bolster your Tokyo rig or you're just getting started with it, make sure to check this kit out from Laser Sharp. You're gonna get quality made in the USA components, 22 of them in fact, all in one easy kit. All right, now let's take a look at the Bass jig kit. Start from the bottom here. We have a cool football swinging jig setup. I love those. It just adds an additional layer of action to your favorite soft plastics. Killer. Moving up here, you got some nice quality swim bait jig heads, some wacky jig heads over here, 2 different colors, and then up top we have some Ned jig heads. So again, if you're looking to bolster your jig setup, if you're just starting out fishing, or if you're just looking for a great value, this is where you want to look. Killer value. Get some sweet Ned heads in there, some different colors. And speaking of Ned heads, some finesse fishing. Let's take a look at a new plastic from Lunker Hut. We got the Lunker Hut Ned Drone. Another pretty unique and neat one here. So really, you can see right off the gate, this aggressive ribbing on this one. So that's gonna grab, displace a ton of water. It really causes a lot of commotion in the water. And with that ribbing, it just kind of adds a bulkier profile. So if you're looking for or a bass is looking for that more substantial meal this wintertime, a nice, easy, substantial meal that they simply can't pass up, throw this Ned Drone at them. They're gonna bite this thing. So it's made with their ultra durable soft plastic. So super stretchy. It's gonna maximize the life of this plastic, but it's also buoyant. So this thing is gonna be perfectly vertical on when it's sitting on the bottom. So it's in that natural foraging position. And it also just puts your hook in the perfect position to really optimize that hookup ratio like we were talking about earlier with that swim bait. So you may not be getting a ton of bites in the wintertime, so it's important to capitalize on each and every one of those and get those fish back to the boat. Having this thing in that vertical presentation is gonna help with that. Just increase your hookup ratio a little bit. Also loaded down with some scent, so the bass are gonna hold on to this thing longer. So just a cool finesse option for you guys, the Lunker Hut Ned Drone. All right, let's switch back to some jigs. Got a new one from Picasso. We got the Picasso Smart Mouth Plus jig heads. So these are weedless jig heads. As you can see, we got the 4 titanium weed guards on the top here. Now those weed guards are gonna be killer. Obviously, they're gonna shed vegetation really, really well. Maybe you're running this thing on an umbrella rig or just by itself with a plastic swim bait. So even if you're bumping into cover and this thing rolls on you and you're going through over cover, those titanium weed guards are really gonna help keep that snaggy vegetation off your hook point. So you're gonna be able to just keep swimming this thing through whatever that cover is. So we also have kind of a concave nose that the Smart Mouth jig heads are known for. It's gonna add like a little bit of a body roll to your swim bait, so just kind of an auxiliary action to it. Just another thing to get those bass to notice your bait, which is really important. Nice paint jobs on here, really, really durable to help resist chipping. Got some 3D eyes on them and then the dual wire keeper on there. So really whatever you want to put on this thing, little swim bait is what I'd probably be going with. It's gonna hold it on there nice and securely. And we have a killer mustad hook on there. So really gonna be great hookup ratios, solid hook sets. All right, let's take a look at a couple swim jigs. The first one we're gonna take a look at is from Team Ark. We got the Team Ark Elite Z Swimmer. So really nice little swim jig. So you can see it's got kind of an aggressively angled head with a flat bottom on here. So that's just gonna come through vegetation super well as bounce over hard cover, whether it's rocks or timber, anything like that. It's gonna come over or through that stuff really, really well. So I like that head design. It's got their cool signature eyes on it. And then coming from the top of it, we have a nice weed guard. That's gonna again help to shed some of that snaggy vegetation, but it collapses easily not to impede your hook set. Hook itself, nice silky gray coating on this thing. So again, really, really lightning, quick penetration. And then attached to the hook, again, a double wire keeper and a wire tied skirt. I really like when they wire tie those skirts or hand tie them in some fashion. It just helps them stand up a little bit longer. You can get way more fish out of them and keeping them nice and pristine, brand new looking. So a cool one from Team Ark. All right, last swim jig I want to talk to you about is from Dem Jigs. So we got the Dem Jigs Superline Jig. Now another killer swim jig that's gonna come through and over cover really, really well. They have a unique head design, one that I haven't really seen too much before, and it does look like it's gonna come through that cover really well. If you guys have used this one, let us know in the comments, hey, this thing does work fantastically going through cover. I think it will. But that head design also supports their kind of, bright eyes that are give a little bit of a strike point to those bass, or maybe you're dealing with some dirty, murky water, just another little thing for the bass to key in on, locate. Again, we got a nice fiber weed guard up top, so gonna shed some of that vegetation without interrupting your hook set, and a nice gamakatsu hook on the back so you can swing that rod in confidence, and another wire keeper on there to really pin your plastic in place. So a couple of cool swim jig options for you guys to check out this winter, this spring, and beyond. Now let's look at something we can throw on the back of this thing. From Big Bite Baits, we have the Big Bite Baits Sensation Ramtail. So pretty simple looking plastic here, but I think it's gonna be really effective. It's gonna do a lot for you. Really, really versatile body on this one. You can do a ton of things with it. We can throw it on those swim jigs, absolutely. Maybe on the back of a vibrating jig. Heck, this thing could go fine on the back of a buzz bait, even a spinner bait, or any just standard football jig, or maybe one of those swinging football heads that we looked at earlier here. So just a ton of things you can do with this. A nice versatile bait. So it's got aggressively ribbed kind of claws on the end here, so it's gonna kick and swim and flutter super, super well. Killer colors on here and loaded down with their new PhD scientist-developed scent, the Sensation. So it's really gonna expand your strike zone and get those fish to hang on longer when they do bite this thing. So you might just get an extra second or two to set the hook when you're flipping, punching, dragging this thing along the bottom, however you wanna fish it. Ton you can do with it. Great colors, great scent. You're gonna wanna check these out. All right, now let's take a look at some new umbrella rigs. So we got a couple of new ones for you here from Crusher Lures. We have the Crusher Lures Yellow Hammer umbrella rig. So I got the original right here and also the junior. So we'll talk about kind of the similarities they share and then maybe a couple of differences. So I mean, umbrella rigs, you gotta have one of these things on your deck all year long because they are proven effective all year long. And what the Crusher designed this one to be is just the most heavy duty HD option you can get out there, the last umbrella rig you need. So up front, we got a 310-pound rated swivel. Down below, hanging off all these, 180-pound rated swivels and 75-pound snaps on the back of these things. Really heavy gauge, thick wires. This thing is not gonna fail on you. So if you have one big fish on there, too big, multiple big fish on here, this thing is not gonna break, bend, or fail on you. So it's a really heavy duty rig option that you wanna take a look at. Now the original size, we'll talk about some of the differences here. So you're gonna have 5.5-inch wires all around and then a 7-inch wire right down the middle. You can see we got some willow blades on the outer wires and then the middle one rocks this Colorado blade. So just a ton of flash. You're gonna get some thump out of that Colorado blade. So just a lot of things to draw those big fish in. Definitely a big fish catcher and a big numbers catcher. Only difference on the junior rig, so still the same HD components, the heavy duty wire. However, they're all gonna be 5.5-inch wires, so you're gonna get more of a uniform, smaller, compact, tight bait ball profile to this one, and you're gonna have the 4 willow blades on here rather than the addition of the Colorado blade. So if you're looking for something a little bit more finesse, maybe more clear water options, that may be the one you wanna check out. But regardless, you got a couple of new HD options of umbrella rigs to choose from. You're gonna wanna check them out from Crusher Lures. All right, last up, we got a new bag from Aftco. We have the Aftco Overnight Bag. This is a pretty sweet overnight bag, absolutely for the anglers or the traveler, anyone out there. It's just a cool bag. So it's got a ton of different storage options in here. So it actually separates at the bottom. You can zip off this bottom part of the zipper so you have a whole nother compartment down below. So maybe that's a good place to stash your tackle. Maybe the wife doesn't want you to bring it along. You can hide it all in there and she's not gonna notice it because you're gonna cover it all with your clothes up in the main compartment. And then you have some side auxiliary compartments for shoes, tools, whatever you wanna bring with you, some front pockets. So just a ton of different pocket options. So you can bring the whole kitchen sink with you on your next adventure. A couple carrying options. You have a nice padded hand carry right here and then the padded shoulder carry there. So just a really comfortable way to transport this thing. A cool overnight weekend bag, whatever you need for that traveling angler or just anyone that wants to get out there and adventure away from home. Cool bag to definitely grab and take along with you on your next trip. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. As always, to learn more about these products or to shop for them, make sure to click shop or the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments which one of these things you're most excited to use this winter, maybe this spring. Tell us what cool stuff you're getting for the Christmas sale. We wanna hear from you guys. All right, we'll see y'all next week.